Ricky and Brandon with Eastern Wild, guys, and we got a little bit of a story for you today. So, leading up to today, me and Brandon's put a lot of time in the woods. Both of us has donated a ton of time to the tree, and Brandon came this close to sealing the deal. And today we're going to tell a little bit of that story, and we're also going to take the footage and post that up too, so you can see exactly what happened. So with that said, I'm gonna let Brandon take it away and tell you exactly what happened that day.
All right, guys, so this hunt commenced on October the 12th. So early October, mid-October, however you want to look at it. As I went over in our podcast, I'll just go over it again. Last season, on the last day of gun season, I had a big encounter. It was probably a 130, 140 class wide 10 on a property that I hunt behind my home.
I'll post that picture up from his trail cams too.
Yes, it's a beautiful deer, and I had an encounter with him on the last day. A couple weeks after that, we obviously got him on camera. We followed him all the way through February on our camera, and that was it. And then this season comes around, and a few neighbors a couple weeks ago was able to send me current pictures of him, and I was blown away. You know, we've got a lease this year. We hadn't really put a lot of time and effort into this particular spot that I'm talking about. But once I got the photos, I'm like, man, I've had a history with the deer. I would love to do all I can to try to get him. So knowing that he was around and alive and well and about 20 inches bigger this season than he was last year, I decided to put up a plan on this ridge top where I thought he might show up, and I put some whitetail mash out, and I had 2 days to hunt this particular spot on October 11th and 12th. Basically, I put the feed out 2 days prior and got in there in the evening, right around 4 o'clock, I guess, on the 12th. And it was a really crisp, nice evening, sunny skies, fairly low wind. The heat, it was around 70, but it wasn't super hot or humid. And I filmed the whole thing for the first time. I've done some self-filming. I've got a filming arm up there, but it's not the best situation. Nonetheless, I made the best of it. And I didn't see any deer the whole day, except right around 7, I looked to my right, and there's a deep hollow that goes down from my tree stand, because I'm up on a ridge top, basically, and we have a deep hollow that goes down to the fields to my right. And right around this bench, this deer came around and up this hollow about 7, and I just looked around, and something caught my eye, and it was a white rack. So I thought, oh yeah, we're in for it here, right? So, and I'm real funny, it had to be the right deer, a shooter, and of course it was. It was a big, wide 8-point, pretty good tine length, pretty tall, and about 16-ish inches wide. And I'm like, you know what? If he gives me an ethical shot, I'm going to try to take it. So he goes to the top of the ridge, and he eases down this logging road, just bounces around. And he comes in with confidence. He's not shaky or anything, and he eases around, and he just hangs out a minute. And he's about the first 10 minutes that I'm watching him, I don't have any shot. I'm just watching him. To get to my food plot, I've got a small window that's about 18 yards, 19 yards where I can shoot him. And in between this whole fiasco here, there was some law enforcement going by with all their sirens, and when the sirens would sound off, I could hear every coyote in the whole area just sounding off with them. It was kind of creepy and cool at the same time, but the deer never spooked. He just sat there and done his thing, and eventually he goes around this big tree and downwind of the food and up to the food, and he's right there. And he's just a beautiful deer, probably a 3.5-year-old, pretty good sized body. And I decided, you know what, that's a trophy with a bow, and I'm going to try to take him. And this whole time, once he comes into my food plot and he's eating, he's quartering away the whole time. The deer's head's to my left, and he's quartering away the whole time. And I decide, I've got belly to back this far to shoot at, so I pull my bow back, and I sling the arrow at him, and a nice big loud thump, good looking hit. I rolled the footage back while I was in the tree after he ran off. The image looked good. The horse kick looked good. All that. I was confident. So we give the deer about 45 minutes after the shot. I call my dad, my father-in-law, and we start obviously at the top of the ridge where the food plot is, and we start tracking him from there. So basically, from where this deer went, he goes down across the ridge and around this bench and down basically what I like to call a gorge. It's essentially 400 or 500 yards ish downward, basically in a massive thicket.
Yeah.
Right, in these mountains where we're hunting. That's the best way to describe it. It's basically a gorge, and we get really good bright lung blood forever. I mean, we're talking 400, 500, 600 yards. We do this from about 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and then the way the land lays, we have to go back up on foot. So after that, needless to say, we were all killed. So what we did, we decided to back out, and we made a pin on HuntWise, and we said, you know what, the next day we'll go in there. There's not giving any rain in the forecast, and we'll start over. Or start again where we left off, and that's exactly what we did. We even went and got a local dog, but we could not find him. We looked everywhere. We had good blood the whole way. And at the very end, where the trail ended, it was starting to go way up the gorge once again, but it ended up being a circle around to where he started back to his bedding area. So once we got to that point to where it was going back upward, we're like, man, this is a lost cause. There's just no way we can continue on in this kind of terrain, try to find this deer. So I elected to watch the coming days for buzzards and maybe drive in there and smell, just try to do something to be able to recover him. And that's exactly what I've done. I've walked on foot through all the bedding areas where I thought he would be. We've been watching for buzzards every day, driving in there as much as we can with our four-wheelers and etc. to try to smell, and nothing. You know, it really sucks. It's something every bow hunter, if you do a lot of it, you're probably going to experience losing one. It sucks, but that's where I'm at. I do believe the deer is dead 100%. I've not gotten him back on camera since, and it's been 9 days. Also, the small basket rack 8 that he was running with is on camera almost every day, and that deer is not with him. So
it goes to show just how tough these animals are.
They're very tough. Yes, they're
like, how?
I know.
We both, all of us, me, you, your dad, anybody that's watched that footage, first instinct, first thought is that's a dead deer.
That deer's dead.
That is a dead deer. That's the first thing, when you sent me that, that's the first thing I said to myself, was, man, that he's going to stumble up on him tonight because that's a dead deer.
Yep. And, you know, the deer's quartering away. I shot him in the high lung there, and I guess towards the exit side, you know, the back side, which would be the deer's right side, we're pretty sure that rage just stuck in his shoulder, right? Yeah. But either way, that first left lung was gone. I mean, all that lung blood was, we got lung blood for 600 yards almost. I mean, it was everywhere. But, and I alluded to this on our podcast, this has taught me a lesson as a bow hunter. From now on, unless I get just a solid pass through, I am going to back out and wait until the following day, right? We were very confident.
Especially if you got the temperatures to save the meat. Yeah.
Yes.
If you've got a good 40 to 50 degree temperatures, the meat's not going to spoil.
Right.
It's better.
Right. And normally this is not a mistake we would have made, but after looking at the footage and the still image of the shot, we were just confident, right? Yeah. We waited 45 minutes, you know, before we went and looked, and
blows my mind.
It does. It sucks. It's every bow hunter's, you just don't want to lose a deer. You really don't, and especially a trophy deer, but any deer you don't want to lose, but hey.
Well, we owe it to them, man.
We do. We want to be ethical. We want to give the animal its due diligence, all that. And I felt like I did as a hunter. I waited for a good shot. I took a good shot.
You did everything you could do on your end.
Yep, but we wanted to show this with you guys, you know, going forward. There's only one good thing coming out of this, and I still have a buck tag in Kentucky. That's the only good thing. So hopefully I can redeem myself and fill a tag this year. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully we can bring that to you soon.
But everybody needs to understand, especially our viewers, that bow hunting is difficult.
Very.
And anybody that jumps to conclusions and say, oh, you shouldn't have given up, or oh, you should have recovered this or recovered that, like anybody that bow hunts for any length of time, you're a very blessed individual if you don't experience this.
To make all the variables meet and to make it all happen with the bow and arrow is a tall order.
Yeah.
And shouldn't be taken lightly, but that's why we love it.
Yeah. So what you just saw is exactly how it went down. Brandon got some incredible footage nonetheless,
yeah.
especially self-filming with a bow. And I want to say congrats anyway, because you pulled off a really good shot, even though without a recovery. I know that deer expired fairly quickly. He may have went a long distance, but I don't think that deer suffered. I think he's dead, as we've all said. But that just goes to show you once again, guys, that bow hunting is one of the most difficult things that you can do in the woods. And even with Brandon doing everything right, the odds were still stacked against him.
Yeah.
So with that said, we just want to ask you guys to continue to like and subscribe to the videos. Hang in there with us, because we're doing everything we can to pump out really good footage and content for you guys. So we want to thank you all once again, and Eastern Wild is out.
I had an encounter with a bobcat, which I have always wanted one for.
Did I get it?
You want me to redo that since you just.
Yeah. I thought you showed it to me on my hand.
No. Oh my God. You can edit that out.